Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this really easy, quick fabric tutu. So this is what it looks like. It's for a thing 1, thing 2 birthday party. So I also have a link on how I make the shirts. I'll put that in this tutorial on how to make them in the description down below, and also this bow as well. So if you guys would like to make matching shirts and bows and stuff to go along with it, the tutorial will be in the description down below. So yeah, let me go ahead and get started with this tutorial. This is what the finished tutu is going to look like. So let me tell you guys what materials you guys would need. So the material that you're going to need to make this tutu is, I got half a yard of each color. I just got 4 different colors. You can use as many colors or as little colors. So for 4 separate colors, it's about, all of this together is about 2 yards. And I think I'm going to be able to make 2 separate tutus from the amount that I cut. So yeah, I did 4 different colors. I did a blue chevron, red solid, and I'm going to show you how to cut the pieces with this regular blue color. And it's about half a yard of each piece of fabric. You're also going to need some like ribbon. This is optional, just to put a bow on the tutu. You can actually use fabric or whatever else you'd like to choose, but I'm going to use ribbon to put a bow on the tutu. You're going to need a ruler, a needle with embroidery floss, a lighter to heat seal the ends of your ribbon. Don't use it on the fabric because it will catch fire. Non-roll elastic. This one is 3/4 of an inch wide. You're going to need like a pen or I guess washable chalk or whatever to use to mark on the fabric. You're also going to need...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Excuse my toddler. You're also going to need shear scissors. These are not regular scissors. These are scissors that you cut fabric with to prevent them from fraying, so that way you won't have to sew the edges. Or you can use a serger. No more, baby. Hold on. I'm trying to do a tutorial here, baby. Go get the tablet. Go get the tablet. So yeah, these are shear scissors. You can get them at any craft store. And you're also going to need a sewing machine and a glue gun. Okay, so once you get your piece of fabric, this one is half of a yard. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open it up, not all the way. It's still folded. I think right here it's still folded. So I'm just going to open it up and I'm going to fold it in half like this, like I guess hot dog style and not the hamburger way, the hot dog way. And on the edge that is sealed over here, that's folded on this side, I'm just going to use my shear scissors and I'm just going to cut like about 1/2 inch or so from the edge. Because you're going to want to cut all your edges with the shear scissors. So now I'm going to make each piece 3 inches wide. You can do it as wide as you want or as thin as you want. I wouldn't go less than 2 inches because some of them actually are 2 inches. You can go a little bit more than 3 inches if you choose, but I think 3 inches is perfect. 2 inches or 3 inches are actually the best. So I'm just going to use my pen and very lightly draw a line at the 3-inch mark, and then just continue doing that all the way down. Just keep. So I have seven pieces here. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to cut them with the shear scissors along that line. Cut all your pieces out. So once you have all your pieces cut out, now we're going to make it the length. I'm making a 18 to 24 month tutu, so I'm making it about 8 inches long. So this is already folded in half, by the way. So make sure that it's a piece that's folded in half. So yeah, you're gonna have to cut it in a way to make it the correct length. So if you need it to be longer, I would suggest cutting longer strips that is folded on one end. Make sure to cut them like longer strips so it'll give you a bigger piece of fabric. So you might want to get like a yard instead of half a yard. So I'm only going to be making them, because the piece that I've cut is only 10 inches long, which makes up to about a size 5, I would say. Like 10 inches is about a size 5. So since I'm making 18 to 24 months, I'm going to cut them 8 inches. And I cut each strip differently at each end. Like this blue chevron one, I cut it at, I guess, make it like the tails like this. So all I did was just fold it in half and then cut it at an angle. And with the red one, I actually cut rounded. I made it like a rounded edge down there. And then with this solid red one, I did it at a diagonal edge. So, and then this one, I'm just going to go straight across. So at the 8-inch mark, I'm just going to cut straight across. Just to give the tutu a little bit more character. Each piece is going to look a little bit different. So there you go. So now all the pieces are cut out. So I have the red, the blue, the red, and the blue. So let's go ahead and put this tutu together as soon as you get all your pieces cut out. So now we're going to go ahead and go to our sewing machine. Okay, so this part is very easy. So each piece actually has 2 separate pieces. So go ahead and separate each piece and lay them in 2 different piles, because one pile is going to make one tutu and the other pile is going to be able to make another tutu. So you're going to be able to make 2 tutus out of this. If you're only making 1 tutu, I would suggest just getting less fabric. But yeah, so again, the bigger sizes, I would probably get a yard of each color. That's if you're getting about 4 colors, or less. Or sorry, if it's size 5 and under, I would suggest getting half a yard each. So go ahead and separate each one. Also, I forgot to mention that I will put, actually down below in the description, I will put the waist measurement sizes for how many inches for each size, and also the length for each size. You would have those in the description down below. So that way you guys would be able to make the correct size for the child that you're going to be making it for. So let's go ahead and separate each of these pieces. Okay, so as soon as you get all those pieces separated, go ahead and put it in the order that you would like it to lay out on the tutu. And in my case, I'm just doing it by pattern, not necessarily by color. So I'm doing the chevron, solid, chevron, solid. And then when it goes back around, it's going to be chevron again. So just go ahead and lay it out this way, and that way when you're sewing, you can just grab the next piece and just continue to sew. So what you're going to do is you're just going to get your first piece, and you're going to fold it in half, just like that, and place it in your sewing machine, and about an inch from the folded edge up here, that's where you're going to sew. So usually most sewing machines come with like measuring lines on this side, so put this edge right here on the 1-inch mark and go ahead and sew an inch from the edge. So go ahead and just sew down. Of course, you're going to backstitch at the beginning. And when you get to the edge, go ahead and stop. As close to the edge as you can. And then go ahead and get your next piece and do it again. Fold it. Make sure it's folded neatly in half. Line it up. Make sure this lines up. And make sure it's about an inch from the edge. Make sure it also lines up over there. Just to make it look neater and nicer. And make sure it's also at the 1-inch mark, and just continue to sew. And then get the next piece and just continue doing this until you run out of pieces. So now once you are done sewing all of it, go ahead and remove it from the machine, but keep it all attached. Go ahead and pull it all out. Now we're going to get, go ahead and put that on the side, our non-roll elastic. I think I already have some, yeah, okay. So I already have some that's already open, but this is just so you guys can see 3/4 of an inch non-roll elastic. So again, all the measurements will be down below in the description. So this one is going to be about 17 inches. But I usually take about an inch off, so I'm going to do 16 inches around the waist. So cut about 16 inches. And now what we're going to do, I forgot to mention at the beginning, you're going to need a large safety pin. Sorry, excuse the ink on my hands. So don't get a little itty bitty one, get a large one. This one's about 2 inches. You can get, this is like the perfect size. It's about 2 inches big. So yeah, get a safety pin. Go ahead and put it through the end of the elastic, just like that. This is what we're going to use to feed the elastic through the casing that we just made for this tutu. So find your end. Move this out of the way. So go ahead and find the end, like the very first piece, slip it through, and slide each piece on. And what I like to do is that once it gets to the end, I like to get like an alligator clip or another safety pin or some kind of pin or something to, let me just go ahead and show you. So once it gets to the end over here, don't let it slide off the end. So I just let it hang off about an inch. I usually fold it over. So it looks like this. And then I just clip it. That way this does not slide off the end, because you do not want it to slide off the other end. So go ahead and keep feeding the fabric through the elastic. So once it is all on the elastic, you're going to want to go ahead and remove the safety pin over on this side, but be careful not to let the fabric slide off. So go ahead and hold that end. And on this end, you're going to also take that off. And we are going to wrap it around. Make sure it's not twisted or anything, that it's all even. Wrap it around into a circle. Give yourself enough space to sew this. You can put it through the sewing machine, or you can hand sew it. I'm going to go ahead and put this through the sewing machine. I would not suggest hot gluing it because the hot glue over time eventually comes undone. So go ahead and sew it. So put it through the sewing machine a few times, back and forth. And I actually just overlapped it about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. So, and make sure you do not sew any other pieces along with this. Make sure all the pieces are out of the way so that it doesn't get caught in the elastic over here. Okay, and then once you're finished, just cut off the string. And now it's secure. I just went back and forth a few times. So now it's secure.
Okay.
Yes, I'm okay, thank you. So now what we're going to do is that we are going to even out. Okay. Sorry about that. My toddler's being wild and crazy. So now we're just going to even it all out, wrap it all the way around, cover up that spot, and make sure it's even. I guess you could say all the way around. That it's not too bunched up in a certain area. And then this part is finished. Hold on. Okay. So now this part is done. There might be some spots that still seem a little... Okay. So now this part is done. So this is what it basically looks like right now. Just a cute little tutu. Of course I'll put it on display right now so that way you guys can see it all laid out. But right now we're going to attach the bow. So I'm just going to make a simple bow. So let me go ahead and make a bow, a simple bow to add to the tutu. And then you're just basically just going to sew it on here, but I'll show you guys that right now. So now we're just going to sew the bow onto the end right here. I actually have a tutorial on how to attach a bow to a tutu. So I will put the link to that video down below in the description so you guys can go ahead and watch that. But right now I'm just going to attach the bow, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's finished. So super easy, super simple. So let me go ahead and attach that bow. Okay, so here is the finished product. It's really pretty fabric tutu, and of course I made shirts to go with it. This is for the brother, and this is a shirt that goes with the tutu, and then of course a little bow. So I will put a link to how I make the shirts in the description down below, and also how I made this bow. I'll put the link to the tutorial in the description down below as well. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and I will see you guys for the next one.